Imagine a world where every moment of your day is devoted to the pursuit of pleasure. Think about it, an existence where you're never bored, never uncomfortable, and always entertained. An endless stream of distractions, indulgences, and instant gratification, all designed to satisfy your every craving. But now, ask yourself, what price would you pay for this? Could the relentless chase for happiness lead not to liberation, but to enslavement? Now we're going to uncover how the pursuit of pleasure, as warned by Aldous Huxley, can become a form of modern slavery. We'll explore timeless wisdom, cutting-edge psychology, and real-world examples to reveal how our desire for comfort, ease, and gratification might be quietly robbing us of our freedom, our focus, and even our humanity. By the end of this video, we'll share one profound insight, a perspective so powerful it could change the way you see your life forever. So let's begin. Let's embark on this journey of understanding the hidden dangers of pleasure and how we can reclaim our freedom in a world determined to keep us chained to fleeting desires. The illusion of freedom through pleasure. Aldous Huxley, in his seminal work Brave New World, painted a chilling picture of a dystopia where humanity has surrendered its autonomy for the illusion of happiness. In his vision, there were no wars, no famine, no suffering, but there was also no individuality, no deep thought, no meaning. Citizens were pacified with soma, a government-issued drug that ensured they were always content, no matter how meaningless their lives had become. Unlike Orwell's 1984, where control was maintained through fear and oppression, Huxley's world was different. It wasn't built on chains or prisons. It was built on pleasure so intoxicating that no one even wanted to resist. This, he argued, is the most insidious form of control. Now take a moment to reflect on the society we live in today. We may not have soma, but aren't we being offered our own version of it? From the constant ping of notifications to the endless scroll of social media, from the dopamine-driven highs of likes and shares to the carefully engineered binge cycles of streaming platforms, our world is designed to keep us hooked, numb, pacified. Psychologists like Csikszentmihalyi, known for his work on flow, have warned us that while technology can create moments of engagement, it also traps us in cycles of addictive behavior. Algorithms feed us tailored pleasures, videos, advertisements, content, all designed to keep us coming back for more. But at what cost? Take a moment and think. How often do you turn to your phone for a quick hit of joy only to find hours have passed, leaving you more drained than fulfilled? How often do you reach for the next distraction just to avoid a moment of silence? This is not just an accident, it's by design. The hedonic treadmill trapped in the chase. The pursuit of pleasure has a dark side that modern psychology calls the hedonic treadmill. This concept reveals a brutal truth. No matter how much happiness we achieve, we quickly adapt to it. Think about the last time you bought something new, maybe a brand new phone, a luxury handbag, or even a dream car. At first, the excitement was intoxicating, but after a few weeks or even days, it became just another object in your life. This is why billionaires still want more money, why celebrities still want more fame, why we always feel like we need the next best thing to be happy. In Huxley's terms, we become prisoners to our own desires, constantly chasing a satisfaction that remains just out of reach. And this isn't just a theory, it's backed by research. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Affective Disorders found that excessive screen time, particularly on social media, is linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression. But here's the most alarming part. This cycle feeds itself. The more disconnected and unhappy we feel, the more we seek solace in the very devices that perpetuate our misery. It's the perfect trap, a system where pleasure isn't just a personal pursuit, it's a carefully controlled economy. And this brings us to a deeper question. What is the true cost of this endless pursuit of pleasure? The cost of a pleasure-obsessed society. Philosopher Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, argued that genuine fulfillment does not come from chasing happiness, but from finding purpose. He believed that when individuals lack meaning in their lives, they are more likely to seek distractions, which only deepens their existential void. So ask yourself, are you living a life of purpose, or have you unknowingly allowed the pursuit of pleasure to dictate your choices? And this isn't just a philosophical question, it's a deeply practical one. Every single day we are faced with decisions. Do we binge another series or spend time with loved ones? Do we scroll aimlessly or invest in our personal growth? At first, these moments seem small, insignificant, but in reality they are the very building blocks of our lives. Aldous Huxley once remarked, most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted, and that's the real danger. In the pursuit of constant pleasure, we risk taking for granted the deeper joys of existence. Authentic relationships, creativity and deep thought, self-discovery and personal mastery, contributing to something greater than ourselves. And here's where we uncover the most powerful insight. Pleasure, when pursued recklessly, does not lead to freedom. Instead, it creates chains that are invisible yet real. These chains bind us to habits, cravings, and distractions that sap our energy, our time, our potential. As we continue, we will explore the hidden systems that thrive on our addiction to pleasure, and more importantly, how we can break free from them. But for now, pause and reflect. Are you living as a free individual, or are you merely a consumer in a world that profits from your desires? Let this thought guide you as we move deeper into this journey of understanding and self-liberation, because what lies ahead will challenge everything you think you know about happiness and freedom. The attention economy, your focus, is for sale. Imagine a marketplace where the most valuable currency isn't money, it's not oil, it's not even gold, it's your attention. In this world, you are not just a consumer of content, you are the product. Every moment you spend scrolling, clicking, consuming, you're not just engaging with entertainment, you're being bought and sold. Welcome to the attention economy, a system that doesn't just survive on your distraction, it thrives on it. But how does this system work? To understand, we need to look at how it exploits our biology. Neuroscientist Dr. Robert Sapolsky, an expert in dopamine research, explains that our brains are wired to seek rewards. Every time we experience something pleasurable, our brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter that reinforces behavior. The rush of getting a new message, the satisfaction of a like on a post, the thrill of a new purchase, the excitement of winning a game. All of these things create a dopamine feedback loop that keeps us coming back for more. But here's where it gets dangerous. The anticipation of pleasure releases more dopamine than the pleasure itself. This is why we obsessively refresh our feeds, why we eagerly wait for a text reply, why we endlessly chase the next notification. It's not the reward that hooks us, it's the possibility of a reward. This is why slot machines are so addictive. You never know when the next payout is coming, and that unpredictability keeps you pulling the lever. And here's the hard truth. Social media, notifications, digital platforms, they use the exact same psychological trick. As Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, warns, technology isn't just something we use, it's something that uses us. Platforms are designed to exploit our vulnerabilities. They use what's called intermittent variable rewards, a technique borrowed straight from casino gambling to keep us addicted. And the result? We become perpetual seekers, always yearning but never satisfied, trapped in the digital pleasure loop. Now think about how this plays out in your daily life. Have you ever caught yourself checking your phone without even realizing it? Have you ever craved something, a snack, a video, a moment of validation, only to feel hollow once you've had it? These aren't coincidences, these are carefully engineered experiences. Aldous Huxley's vision in Brave New World wasn't just about individual pleasure-seeking, it was about society-wide control. People in his dystopia weren't forced into submission, they were lulled into compliance by pleasure. And today we face a similar threat. While we may not be swallowing soma, we are being inundated with digital distractions that serve the same purpose, to pacify us, to numb us, to keep us compliant. Because a distracted mind says it's an unchallenging mind. A society obsessed with pleasure is a society that doesn't resist. But why does this matter so much? Because the pursuit of pleasure, when left unchecked, doesn't just rob us of time, it steals our potential. When we prioritize fleeting gratification over meaningful pursuits, we sacrifice our ability to grow, to create, and to contribute. Author Cal Newport, in his book deep work, highlights how shallow engagement with technology erodes our ability to focus and achieve mastery. He argues that the greatest rewards in life come not from easy pleasures, but from sustained effort and deep concentration. So now ask yourself, how much of your time is spent on activities that truly enrich your life? How often do you prioritize immediate satisfaction over long-term fulfillment? These questions aren't meant to shame you, they're meant to awaken you, because awareness is the first step toward reclaiming your freedom. But here's the problem. Breaking free is easier said than done. Because the system we live in doesn't just encourage pleasure-seeking, it normalizes it. The illusion of more, a society built on dissatisfaction. From advertisements that promise instant happiness to cultural messages that equate success with material wealth, we are constantly told that more is better. But why? Because a society built on consumerism depends on dissatisfaction. If you were truly content, you wouldn't need the latest gadget, the newest trend, the next big thing. This is why advertisers don't just sell products, they sell lifestyles. They make you believe that happiness is always just one purchase away. But here's the hard truth. No amount of external pleasure can fill an internal void. This is why so many people, despite having everything they thought they wanted, still feel empty. Psychologist Carl Jung famously said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." And this is the real reason we chase distractions. Not because we need more pleasure, but because we are running from ourselves. So how do we break the cycle? How do we escape this trap of endless distraction? The first step to freedom, it begins with awareness. You must learn to recognize the systems and behaviors that keep you enslaved to pleasure. But awareness alone is not enough. You must also take action. Deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable, steps toward reclaiming your life. Start small, turn off notifications for non-essential apps, set boundaries with technology, create phone-free hours, choose meaningful activities over mindless distractions. These actions may seem insignificant, but they are revolutionary in a world designed to keep you distracted. Now ask yourself, what would your life look like if you prioritized meaning over pleasure? What habits or mindsets would you need to change to walk the path of growth rather than gratification? Because as we move into the final part of this journey, we will uncover the ultimate key to breaking free from the chains of pleasure. A revelation so powerful, it has the potential to transform not just how you live, but who you are. Stay with us, because the most important lesson is still to come. The ultimate key to freedom beyond the chains of pleasure. We've uncovered the hidden dangers of pleasure, the way our world is designed to keep us addicted, and how our pursuit of gratification keeps us enslaved. Now we arrive at the most important question of all: how do we break free? The answer lies in a profound truth, one that may seem counterintuitive at first. Real freedom does not come from doing whatever we want. Real freedom comes from having the discipline to choose what truly matters. The power of purpose over pleasure. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This insight is not just philosophical, it's a cornerstone of human liberation. When we anchor our lives to a deep sense of purpose, the fleeting allure of pleasure loses its grip on us. Purpose acts as a compass, guiding us through the distractions, the temptations, the mental clutter that keeps us enslaved. But here's the thing. The modern world doesn't want you to find your purpose, because a person with a strong sense of direction is a person who cannot be controlled. Consider the lives of those who have changed history. Mahatma Gandhi led a nation to freedom, not because it was easy, but because it was meaningful. Mother Teresa dedicated herself to serving the poor, not because it was pleasurable, but because it was fulfilling. Martin Luther King Jr. stood against oppression, not because it was comfortable, but because it was necessary. Their greatness wasn't born from seeking comfort. It was born from embracing struggle in pursuit of something larger than themselves. And you have that same potential. But the question is, how do you find your why in a world that constantly pulls you toward distraction? Viktor Frankl's answer, the 3 pillars of meaning. Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning, discovered something extraordinary during his time in a Nazi concentration camp. Despite unimaginable suffering, those who survived weren't necessarily the strongest physically. They were the ones who had something to live for. Frankl identified 3 sources of meaning: creating something of value, work, art, ideas, contributions, experiencing love and connection, relationships, community service, finding growth in suffering, transforming pain into purpose. Each of these requires us to look beyond ourselves, beyond immediate gratification, and engage with life on a deeper level. So take a moment and reflect. What legacy do you want to leave behind? How can you use your strengths to contribute to others? When faced with difficulty, how can you transform it into growth? These are not easy questions, but they are life-changing ones. By seeking answers, you take the first steps toward breaking free from the chains of pleasure and stepping into a life of purpose. But there's still one more piece of the puzzle. Discipline equals freedom. It may sound paradoxical, but discipline is the foundation of true freedom. Why? Because without discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. You are at the mercy of your cravings, your distractions, the external forces that manipulate your desires. Think about it. If you can't control your habits, are you really free? If you can't resist distractions, who's really in charge? You or the algorithm? If you live only for comfort, are you truly living? Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL, puts it simply: discipline equals freedom. And this applies to every aspect of life. Financial freedom comes from the discipline of saving, investing, and making wise decisions. Mental freedom comes from the discipline of choosing focus over distraction. Physical freedom comes from the discipline of exercise, health, and self-care. If you want to reclaim your time, your energy, your life, you must cultivate discipline. And here's how to start. The daily practices of a free mind. To break free from the pleasure trap, begin with small, consistent habits. Wake up earlier. Give yourself time to reflect, think, and plan your day before the world pulls you in 100 directions. Set boundaries with technology, turn off non-essential notifications, create phone-free hours, practice deep work. Schedule uninterrupted time for meaningful tasks. Train your brain to focus. Choose discomfort regularly. Challenge yourself to do something difficult every day. Growth happens outside the comfort zone. Prioritize creation over consumption. Spend more time building, writing, thinking, and engaging with real people instead of passively consuming content. These changes may seem small, but they create a ripple effect. Over time, they reshape your mind, your habits, and your entire life. Because every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you strengthen your ability to live with purpose. Every time you resist the pull of distractions, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. And in a world that profits from your complacency, these small acts of defiance are revolutionary. The final choice: will you break free? As we conclude, let's return to Aldous Huxley's warning. He foresaw a world where pleasure would be used as a tool of control, a world where people would trade their freedom for comfort and their potential for convenience. And yet, he also believed in humanity's capacity for awareness and resistance. That includes you. So now, the choice is yours. Will you continue to follow the easy path dictated by fleeting desires, or will you rise above, embracing the challenge of living with intention and purpose? This isn't just about improving your life, it's about inspiring others to do the same. So here's what I want you to do. Take a moment to reflect. What distractions are holding you back? What small step can you take today toward reclaiming your freedom? And if this message resonated with you, share it, because together we can build a world where freedom isn't a forgotten ideal, but a lived reality. This is your moment to awaken. The chains are invisible, but they can be broken. The path is steep, but it leads to greatness. Choose wisely and step boldly into the life you were meant to live. Subscribe to the channel if you liked the video.